there are a lot of React tutorials available out there, and it was personally to me it was very disappointing that there are no good React tutorials available. I actually had to go through multiple of them when I was getting started, and every tutorial has something right, it has something wrong, and it leaves you very confused. So even if you start learning React right now, then that might get very confusing. So I'll give you some general guidelines about what to look for in these React tutorials. It's not that they are bad, but it depends a lot on when the tutorial is released, because the latest changes in React are still very recent. Many of these changes might not even have existed when these tutorials came out. So that's why they don't cover these modern concepts. Now, one thing I talked about in the starting was someone asked what is the difference between npm and npx. So that is related to this. You don't actually need to, and you should never install the create react app component. Sorry, not a component, it's a library. Actually, if you already have it installed, if you followed some React tutorial that told you to do npm install -g and then create React app, you should immediately delete your create React app, because that will break. You should always use npx. Then another thing is functional components are more manageable for larger projects than class components, as I just showed. You can manage the state of each variable separately, and everything is manageable. All the variable names make sense, and everything seems more organized and simple to use. Then for the project structure of large projects, this is something many basic tutorials don't cover. So actually I want to go a bit detail into this. So when you have your source folder, when you create a React application, you don't have much here. Now, whenever you have to create a new component, you make a new file inside the components folder, and you have one file for every code. That makes it very manageable, right? I could have just made a single component for all of this code, but I broke it down into components. That looks much more manageable now. And this is just one page application. So imagine when you're building a large application, this gets complicated very quickly. So these are some good tips to follow. Then if you have some utility functions, you should not add them directly to your components. You should actually create a separate file and import your functions. So that makes it very organized and simple to maintain. Then next is TypeScript is JavaScript with benefits. So TypeScript is something that actually most of the React tutorials don't talk about. TypeScript is a language that is a wrapper around JavaScript, and it basically, when you are working with TypeScript, it is basically JavaScript with strict typing. It is JavaScript with type checking. So you can say it's something like, it makes JavaScript similar to strongly typed languages like C# or Java or something similar, right? So now regular JavaScript, you can specify anything. You can specify a variable and you have no idea what is going to come into it. Yeah, I can write let a is equal to something, and it can be anything, right? So when I'm dealing with dynamic values, if someone is sending a value that I'm not expecting, then there is no way my JavaScript application can check it without explicitly writing something for it. So TypeScript is something you should give a try if you are thinking of building React project seriously. Then you should always check for the React Git enrollment file for this if you are working with Git. Then the node modules folder is actually not required. So the node modules folder is something that is downloaded. This is very huge and it's updated all the time. So this is not something you need to upload and share actually. So whenever you just need the other parts of the React project, and the package.json is what's important. When you run your application, it will look at the package.json and it will install whatever components or libraries are mentioned in it. Then another thing is you should never use var. So in my demo that I showed you, you must have seen everywhere I've used either const or let. You should never use var, because that can be anything, and var is not a very good way to write code. So when you write constant let, you basically are specifying if a value is going to change or it is not going to change. So that's a better way of writing it than loosely writing code. So when you loosely write code, your code is very vulnerable to attacks and changes. Then there are some useful extensions I can recommend you. So while writing the demo, you must have noticed my code was automatically getting formatted. For that, you can go to extensions in Visual Studio Code and you can search for tier. This is by Esben Peterson, and what this will do is basically if I change this, when I save, it actually formats it automatically, so I don't need to worry about indentation and formatting for my code. That makes it more maintainable. Then another extension I would recommend is React Snippets. Yes, this is by Berg Holland, and this creates many shortcuts for you to quickly write your code. So when you're writing a component, you must have seen I was writing the components very quickly. So I can just write this and I get this code, right? So this is a template. So you can get some snippets from that, and for the functional component, this is actually a custom snippet. So if you want this custom snippet, I can tell you how to create it. You can go into File, you can go into Preferences, go to User Snippets. Here you type JavaScript React.json, and this is the exact user snippet I'm using. If you want to copy it, I'll just screen so you can see it completely. This video is getting recorded, so you can see this later for reference. What else? You don't need to wrap with the div or a fragment. So many tutorials out there will tell you, okay, if you have multiple things going on here, so you can actually wrap this inside another div, or you can use something called react.fragment. This is actually an old way of coding. Since the React 16 update came out, you can just write it like this and this is supported. This actually converts to fragment, so it makes it a bit cleaner. Then you should avoid default exports. Default exports is something I did not use in my demo at all. That is again something that many tutorials will tell you to follow. And basically what it means is, instead of, say, let's take a smaller component, so instead of taking this, I won't export this directly, and I will do export default title bar. Now exporting like this basically means that I can import something as anything. So I can do another file. I can do import abc from title bar, and that would still work because this is a default export. So whatever name you give to this component, that will work. That is how default exports work. This is not a very good way of writing things. So when you do a named export, this thing I was doing is a named export. When you do these, you always get the same name that is defined in the component. So in case you make a typo, that is not a mistake. So if you make a typo in named components, it will tell you it doesn't exist. But that will work in default exports. That is something you can do. Again, many beginner tutorials out there show you this. And another thing is, one of the biggest differences is you can live without Redux. So most of the React tutorials out there, they come with the tagline React plus Redux. You have to use Redux, React plus Redux. Everything is out there, React plus Redux, Redux. So Redux is a library that is used for managing the state of a component. So it is basically a globalized state. As you build larger applications, you'll see the need for it. Now that has a very good replacement by the React Native library itself called the Context API. That is something that came out again. It came out recently. If you want to learn React, you should take a look at the Context API instead of React. It is much simpler to use, serves the same purpose, and often it is much better for simple applications. That's not to say that Redux is not useful at all. It has some benefits, but something you should only be considering if you are building very large applications with a huge frequency of updates. That is where Redux really shines.